A groundbreaking revelation. Time may not exist at all. In a revelation that has left the scientific world astounded, a group of eminent physicists has uncovered evidence that challenges the very fabric of our understanding of reality. Their findings suggest that time, the concept that has been central to human experience for millennia, may not actually exist in the way we think it does. Our perception of time, tick-tock, the relentless passing of seconds, minutes, and hours, could be nothing more than a construct of our minds, an illusion crafted to help us make sense of a universe that operates in ways far beyond our comprehension. This discovery has massive implications, not only for the field of physics but for how we perceive our daily lives. If time isn't what we think it is, how does that alter our understanding of everything from the vastness of the cosmos to the very essence of our own existence? Imagine a world where time, as we know it, is no longer the ruler of our lives, controlling every thought, decision, and action. In today's video, we're going to break down this mind-bending concept, explore the science behind it, and dive into the revolutionary theories that are challenging everything we thought we knew about time. Get ready to have your mind stretched. A journey through history, how we came to understand time. To understand why this new theory is so disruptive, we first need to take a step back and look at how time has been perceived throughout history. For thousands of years, philosophers, scientists, and great thinkers have struggled to define time. In ancient civilizations, like those of the Egyptians and Mayans, time was intricately tied to the cosmos. They created complex calendars, tracking the sun's movement, the phases of the moon, and the changing of the seasons. Interestingly, these early cultures often viewed time not as something linear, but as cyclical. The sun rises and sets, the seasons change in an eternal cycle, the moon waxes and wanes. Time seemed to flow in a repeating pattern, something that mirrored the eternal rhythms of nature. Fast forward to the modern world, where time has become something far more rigid and linear. We live by clocks, with their constant ticking, reminding us that time is always advancing forward, never backward. We schedule our days, mark our deadlines, and rush through life, perpetually aware of time's march. We categorize our lives into past, present, and future. The past is behind us, the future is ahead, and the present is the fleeting moment between the two. But what if this understanding of time, this perception we've had for centuries, is fundamentally wrong? What if time isn't something that exists outside of us, but rather something our minds have invented to make sense of the world? What if time is merely an illusion? The theory of time as an illusion. Is time just in our minds? The idea that time is an illusion is not new. In fact, for centuries, philosophers like Immanuel Kant and Henri Bergson argued that time may not have any real existence outside of our perception of it. They believed that time, as we experience it, is a mental construct, something that exists only in our minds. However, it's only recently that breakthroughs in physics have pushed this idea to the forefront of scientific debate. In the early 20th century, Albert Einstein's theory of relativity revolutionized our understanding of space and time. Einstein's famous equation, E=mc², showed us that time and space are not separate entities but are instead part of a unified structure known as space-time. What this means is that time, much like space, is flexible. It can be warped and stretched by factors like gravity and velocity. Time is not absolute, it is relative. For example, an astronaut traveling at near the speed of light will experience time much more slowly than someone on Earth. This phenomenon, known as time dilation, has been experimentally verified many times using atomic clocks. But even within the framework of relativity, time is treated as a fundamental component of the universe, albeit relative to one's frame of reference. However, recent studies in physics have gone even further, suggesting that time might not be a fundamental feature of the universe at all. Instead, They propose that time is not an inherent property of the cosmos, but a product of the way our consciousness interprets the world. Time, in this sense, could be an illusion, a construct of our minds designed to navigate the complexities of the universe. The holographic principle, a universe with no time. One of the most fascinating concepts that supports this theory comes from quantum physics, and it's known as the holographic principle. Imagine this: our entire universe, every star, planet, and galaxy, might not even be three-dimensional at all. Instead, it could be a two-dimensional projection of information encoded on a distant, flat surface. It's a little like a hologram, where the image you see is a three-dimensional projection created from a flat surface. This groundbreaking theory was first proposed by physicists Gerard T. Hooft and Leonard Susskind in the 1990s. It stems from the study of black holes and suggests that everything we perceive as reality is actually a projection of information stored on a distant, two-dimensional surface. If this idea is correct, it would mean that our entire understanding of reality is far more complex than we can imagine. And what does this have to do with time? Well, if our universe is just a projection, it's possible that time itself isn't a fundamental aspect of reality. Time, as we experience it, could be a product of how our brains process information in this three-dimensional world. Time, as we know it, might be a mental tool, helping us to organize the world around us, but not a fundamental part of the universe itself. The block universe, a timeless reality. Another mind-blowing theory comes from the concept of the block universe. According to this theory, time is not a flowing river but a fixed, unchanging block in which the past, present, and future exist simultaneously. In other words, time as we experience it, something that moves forward, is an illusion. Imagine a four-dimensional block, like a giant loaf of bread. Each slice of the loaf represents a moment in time, past, present, and future. In a block universe, all of these moments exist simultaneously. The future isn't ahead of us, waiting to unfold, but rather already there, just as real as the past and present. The only reason we perceive time as flowing is because our consciousness moves through this block, experiencing one slice at a time. This idea ties back to Einstein's theory of relativity, which tells us that space and time form a four-dimensional fabric. If time is a dimension, like the three spatial ones, then all moments in time might coexist in a timeless, static structure. Time's passage, then, is simply an illusion created by the way our minds process this fixed structure. The psychology of time perception, how time feels in our minds even if time doesn't exist in the way we think it does, our experience of it still feels very real. Our perception of time is deeply tied to how our brains process sensory information. When we're engaged in something exciting, time seems to fly by. When we're bored or waiting for something, time seems to stretch out endlessly. This is called psychological time, and it's shaped by factors like emotion, attention, and expectation. Psychologists have long studied how we perceive time, and what they've found is that our sense of time isn't perfect. Time perception is malleable and prone to distortion. It's influenced by our memories, our focus, and even our age. Young children, for example, often perceive time as moving slowly, while older adults report that time seems to speed up as they age. If time is truly an illusion, then how do we reconcile this with our subjective experience of it? The fact that our perception of time can be so fluid and personal suggests that time, as we experience it, is more about how our minds interpret reality rather than something that objectively exists in the world around us. Time in the quantum world, fluid and unpredictable at the smallest scales of existence, the quantum realm, time behaves even stranger. In quantum mechanics, particles don't follow the predictable paths we expect in the classical world. Instead, They exist in a state of superposition, where they can be in multiple states at once. Time, in this realm, is not a continuous stream, it's more fluid, unpredictable, and difficult to pin down. This suggests that, at its most fundamental level, time may not be a universal constant. Instead, time might emerge from the interactions between particles and forces. The nature of time could depend on the quantum relationships between particles, making it a far more complex concept than we can currently understand. The future of time, a new reality awaits as scientists continue to explore the mysteries of time. One thing is becoming clear: time is not what we thought it was. Whether it's an illusion created by our consciousness, a byproduct of quantum interactions, or a projection of a higher dimensional reality, the nature of time is far more complex than we can currently comprehend. So, what does this mean for our understanding of the universe? How should we live our lives if time isn't the constant, unchanging force we've always believed it to be? One thing is certain: we are only beginning to scratch the surface of the true nature of reality. As we delve deeper into these theories, our understanding of time, and of everything around us, could change forever. What do you think? Is time just a mental construct, or does it play a more fundamental role in the fabric of the universe? Let's